Hi there. Just some quick updates on the most recent version 1.0.0 beta 6. Um, let's see here. I've got some new symbols. Um, got distance, which is actually re-added as a dyadic symbol, and then away, which is sort of which is a move from the outside side of a triangle. Toward, which is a move to the inside side of the triangle. So obviously mutual away and toward. These can be added just like the other emotional process symbols like this between any two people. And then this one is define self, and it means that one person, let's say, one person defines self toward another person. Um, so this one's defining self towards this person while this person is more or less pursuing. I don't know. These are experimental symbols, and I'm curious to see what you think, but I was trying to capture the movement between the inside side of a triangle and the outside side of a triangle. All of these can be, you can set a size to as sort of an intensity. They all have start and end date as before, and then you can also change the person that it points to, so you can edit the symbol here, swap them around, swap the people, whatever it is you want to do. So all of those are going to be captured here. I added in a drop down here, and you can go to relationships, and then it's got all of the symbols, all of these emotional process symbols listed by start date and then by type. And if you make this a little bigger, it pops out and it gives you start and end date, and then also the date that it was created. Every object in the diagram gets the date that was created. I also added a search feature, so you can search the timeline. Let's see, let's say 10/14, 1952 for kicks, and then it'll show everything on and after that date. You can do the same thing with an end date, so you can specify a range. You can also go and search by the date that an event or a relationship was created, and I've found that helpful if I want to go back and see all the events that, or see all the anything really that I added after or on a certain day for doing progress notes or something like that. Then I can just search in the date range for that. I also added a feature called tags, which is something that's popular on the internet in general. It's just a generic label that you can add. So if you want to add, I'm just adding one called nodal, and then let's say I'm going to select 3 of these by holding the command button and clicking, and then go up to edit. The tags list here is global, so it pertains to the entire diagram. So you can see that if I add another one here and say um, related to birthday, then it keeps the list updated. And if I set these selected events to be one tag, then I can go back and click this and it filters out. It only shows the ones that have that tag selected or have that tag selected. So you can use those however you want. There's also this button here called nodal, so I'll just get rid of that for confusion. So you can mark events, and I might just change that to generic to say mark and not nodal. I'm not sure. But at any rate, it makes them stand out. There's also a graphical timeline, a visual representation of the events line here that allows you to get more of a kind of holistic view of how close together events were occurring, and then you can go zoom into a particular part and then check out check out that date range. The bigger dots are the events that were marked as nodal, or maybe just marked, however you want to mark them. But I think it makes sense if you use it as a nodal one. I'm not sure about the look of this thing. I'd be curious about feedback, but it does try to sort of hide um, whatever events are going to overlap, so you can see them appearing and disappearing as you zoom in and zoom out with the mouse wheel. That's just to keep it legible. But I think that this one can really go some interesting places, and I'd be curious to see if anyone else has any ideas about how to make that better. So there's also a an undo history here so that you can cycle back through with the arrow keys, and it's got every single command all the way back to the beginning from when I started this video. So that gets it back to its original state, or you can just kind of see what you've been working on. These actions here were they were there before, but they have some shortcut keys now. So it's it's Command Shift N to hide names, and you can see the aliases changing, or the names changing to aliases in brackets. So if you want to use it for presentation. You can also hide the emotional process to simplify the view, or if you just want to focus on genealogy. And then the last one is to hide the toolbars, which you can see here just makes it a little better for presentation to just show the diagram. So now there's also, when I was using this in clinical sessions, it's really important to I found it really important to just have really quick access to any part of the diagram at once. And the first most important was when I'm talking to someone and I want to add an event. I can just do Control E and it pops up this event dialog here. I'll add something on my birthday. Well, it's not approximate because I know it. I was born. Of course, the app is automatically adding birth dates, so this isn't, well, let's just say 2001, because then I was 21, turned 21. Again, I added a location field, and then you can set it to a person and then add it. You've also got your notes field and that kind of thing, but it's just a really quick way to be able to add events. And then you'll get them over here in the timeline. So 2001, there's the one, and apparently my, well, the person I selected, their alias name is Marjorie. That's right, because this isn't my family. I just spaced that out. Yeah, and then, so the same thing with adding emotional process symbols, or relationships, rather. You can set the client here. It's the kind to say there was an away move. It was between this person and this person. And then it's this big. Add in some notes. Set a tag. Something. Check it. And add it. And then here you can see that the symbol was added there. I can undo it and redo it. So yeah, it's you'll see all of, if you go up to, you can't see it in the video, but if you go up to the insert menu, then you get all of your keyboard shortcuts here. So if you want to add an event, Control or Command E or Command R to add a relationship. And then there's all of these keyboard events too, which I find really helpful, again, in clinical use. So if I just want to go back to the diagram, it's Command 1, Command 2 is to the timeline for the events, Command 3 is to relationships, Command 4 is visual, and Command 5 is the undo list, although you might not ever use that. So I think that's it. Just do a quick look here. Oh yeah, it got keyboard shortcuts for next event and previous event. So if, without having the timeline open, if you want to just go back through time, you can just hit those and animate the family forward and backwards as you like. Let's see, if I go back to the distant past, and then there's another keyboard shortcut just to jump to the current date, that's Command 0. And then if you're kind of lost in your diagram, you can do Command Shift 1 and it recenters it. So that's always kind of nice. I like saving it like that just to keep it clean. Okay, you can edit all all of these objects, you can edit multiple objects at once. So if I go in here and set the notes on this symbol and this symbol, then it saves them for both. See, there it is. Same thing with people. You can edit more than one person at a time. For example, if oh geez, that's right, I forgot about these fields. If you want to set the size, then it changes the size, and any of the other fields you want. Now, so I added in first name, middle name, last name, nickname. If you already created a diagram, the name will just show up here, the full name, and you can just copy and paste the middle and the last name into here. And then, so if I say Patrick Kidd Stinson, of course it's editing both of these at the same time, you can see here that it's showing my last name because I have this checked. And then if I set in a nickname, it adds it in here in parentheses. So there we go. So you can see that it's adding in the full name there, Patrick Kidd Stinson, and my nickname is Patty, and I apparently died of a heart attack. There's another one here for the birth name, or maiden name, but I try to keep it gendered neutral in case someone changed their name at some point in their life for any reason. And okay, I think that's it. So yep, this is the new version. I'm going to try to put together some documents or some documentation in some kind of a rudimentary user manual. But in the meantime, just send me an email if you have any questions. And I hope you find this useful, and I'd love to hear any feedback that you have. Thank you. Bye-bye.